Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to the Faith Revival. So we've really spoken about the impact of sin on faith, the impact of the pursuit of wealth and envy and stinginess, and we've spoken about a lot of things. But what about good deeds that actually can hurt your Iman? What does that mean? The Prophet ﷺ says, لَنْ يَشَادُ الدِّينِ أَحَدٍ. No one overburdens themselves with the religion. No one exaggerates or goes to extremes with the religion, إِلَّا غَلَبَ, except that the religion defeats him. That's powerful. The religion defeats you. The religion actually crushes your Iman. What is the Prophet ﷺ talking about? He says, فَسَدِّدُوا وَقَارِبُوا وَغْدُوا وَرُوحُوا. He said, so be moderate and proceed gradually. وَغْدُوا وَرُوحُوا, and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the morning and between Asr and Maghrib. وَشَيْءٌ مِنَ الدُّلْجَةِ وَالْقَصْدَ الْقَصْدَ تَبْلُغُوا, and a little bit in the last part of the night, and proceed moderately, and you will reach your goal. The Prophet ﷺ is telling us that sometimes the most detrimental thing to your Iman is when you set unreasonable expectations for it. When you have this sudden burst, that catalyst that we spoke about a few episodes ago, you have that sudden burst and this want to just take it all on at once. I've been so far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now I need to grab everything. So I need to go from being this wicked transgressor, this sinner, to being a companion of the Prophet ﷺ. Like, I need to get to that level tomorrow because I've done so much bad in my life, I need to jump into this. The Prophet ﷺ witnessed that in his life, and he warned people from going to extremes with good deeds because it will crush your Iman when you can't maintain that output. And there are many examples of that. You know, every fundraiser in Ramadan, and of course it is the Yaqeen fundraiser, so please donate to Yaqeen. Every fundraiser in Ramadan, you'll see people quote Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and they'll say that Abu Bakr gave all of his wealth for the sake of Allah, and Umar gave half of his wealth for the sake of Allah. And the Prophet ﷺ praised Abu Bakr and Umar. However, what they won't tell you is that the Prophet ﷺ actually stopped other people from giving all of their wealth. Why? Because he recognized that that was unreasonable. So when people came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, I want to give it all for Allah, he said, أَمْسِكْ عَلَيْكَ بَعْضَ الْمَالِ. You should hold some of it for your family. You should not give it all up. They said, Ya Rasulullah, I want to give it all up. The very famous story in Surah Ali Imran, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. You will not achieve Jannah or righteousness until you give of that which you love. Abu Talha comes to the Prophet ﷺ. He said, I want to give my most beloved garden. The Prophet ﷺ says, أَرَى أَن تَجْعَلَهَا فِي الْأَقْرَبِينَ. It's better if you leave it for your family or donate it to your relatives. Because he understood ﷺ that these people might be depressed afterwards because they'd recognize that they went too far. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, on the other hand, his Iman was secured. Likewise, the Prophet ﷺ allowed some people to fast more than others. There are companions that fasted every day. There are companions that fasted every single day except for the 2 Eids. He didn't allow that for other people because he knew that it was unreasonable, that the expectation was too much. So he tells Abdullah bin Amr ibn al-As radiallahu ta'ala anhu that the best fasting is the fasting of Dawood alayhi salam. If you really want to fast, and he took him through the equation. First, try Mondays and Thursdays. Try 3 days of the month. Okay, you want more? Then don't go beyond fasting alternate days, because he recognized Abdullah ibn Amr was too overzealous and he was too young and he was trying to do it all at once. Trying to pray all night. I want to pray all night long, Ya Rasulullah. I don't want to wait till the last third of the night to start praying. And what did the Prophet ﷺ tell him? He said, Ya Abdullah. He said, listen to me. Oh Abdullah. لا تكن كرجل كان يقوم الليل فترك. Don't be that guy that comes later on in life and says, I remember when I used to pray Qiyamul Layl, and then he just abandoned it altogether. Because it became too burdensome, because the bar he set was way too high. And so people need to understand that I need to set short-term goals and long-term goals. Long-term, we all have something to strive for. We will never surpass the Prophet ﷺ and his companions. So long-term, I want to get here. Short-term, I can't go from not reading Quran at all to reading the Quran 3 times a month. I need to start somewhere. I can't go from not praying my 5 prayers on time to praying all night long, or to saying that I'm going to pray Qiyamul Layl every night. Start with your 5 prayers. I can't go from barely fasting Ramadan to trying to fast every other day, going straight to the fasting of Dawood alayhi salam. if you set unrealistic goals for your faith, you will feel defeated when you're unable to meet those goals. So what do you have to do? You have to set goals that you can achieve, inshallah. Once you achieve these goals in baby steps, then you build on them, inshallah ta'ala. You don't start with these lofty goals, you build on them. And there's a methodology that Imam al-Ghazali rahimahullah says with our faith that's very profound. He says that you leave sin immediately. You don't gradually get off of a sin. Once you recognize you're sinning, you immediately cut it out of your life. Because if you leave it in any capacity or any proportion, it's only a matter of time before you dive into it altogether. But you build good deeds gradually. So rapidly detach from sin, slowly and gradually attach to good habits and good practices to build your Iman. Otherwise, you will fall short because you're going to feel like you're not sufficient. And if you set a goal for yourself and you're not able to meet that goal, then readjust the expectation and readjust the goal. Don't give it up altogether. So if you say, from now on, I'm going to pray Qiyamul Layl 2 times a week, and you're finding it too difficult, don't say, well, I tried doing Qiyamul Layl, it didn't work. Then do 1 time a week, inshallah ta'ala. If you said, from now on, I'm going to read this many pages of Quran, and it didn't work, cut it in half, inshallah. But keep on going. Don't detach from it altogether. Otherwise, again, it will be a depression of faith. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to proceed with moderation towards Him and not be overburdened by a religion that is meant to provide ease and tranquility to our hearts. Allahumma ameen. See you all next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.